Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy.
All right, folks, here it is. I told you this video is coming. Let's see what Liberal Hive Mind has to say.
Of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, my friends, it appears the preliminary numbers are in. That's of course relating to the ratings of the halftime show at the NFL Super Bowl. And well,
I want to say this before we continue. The only good thing about that Super Bowl show was the set design. For the camera, of course. The audience couldn't see shit.
well, it's looking like an absolute disaster for the woke NFL, woke CBS, and the woke Bad Bunny shills. It appears as though the Bad Bunny
I mean, at least I don't wear a dress, Bad Bunny.
halftime show was a total ratings disaster, a bloodbath. I know I'm sure you've been seeing all kinds of reports that actually this Super Bowl broke all the records in the ratings. That's the early report we got from CBS, but it appears as though it's a whole lot more complicated than that, at least in the domestic market. We've got a report from Samba TV, which is a whole lot better, a whole lot more of an accurate source than CBS, and yeah, it's bad. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So here it is. We've got this from Samba TV. They write the hashtag Super Bowl.
The fuck is Samba TV? Oh well, let's look at these numbers.
Delivered another massive night of television, and the data tells an interesting story. Our latest viewership insights reveal that 48.6 million households tuned into the Super Bowl. That's representing a 13% decrease from last year's game, and only 26.5 U.S. households watched the Bad Bunny halftime performance. That's down 39% from Kendrick Lamar's 2025 show. While viewership declined year over year, Super Bowl remains one of TV's most powerful cultural moments, delivering tens of millions of engaged viewers in an increasingly fragmented media landscape. So yeah, this whole narrative that actually Bad Bunny proved all the haters wrong, the MAGA chuds are just totally out of touch weirdos, and everybody loved.
I mean, everybody I know complained about this halftime.
Watching Bad Bunny grab his crotch for freaking, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, gyrating back.
I did see that. That guy grabbed his crotch more than me, just sitting here itching my nuts.
And forth, ooh, to the same friggin' repetitive reggaeton beat. Yeah, it appears that narrative is now cold, dead. The exact opposite is true, at least locally, talking about U.S. domestic households. And it appears to have had a major impact on the baseline ratings as well. It wasn't just the halftime. We're looking at a 13% drop from last year, and the halftime show, a nearly 40% crap. And what's crazy is that drop off. You know, you
reggaeton music.
had a lot of people who were watching the Super Bowl, and then the moment Bad Bunny showed up, they turned the freaking TV off. We're talking more than 20 million people changing the freaking channel, and probably a lot of them, of course, going to that TPUSA event. And it's funny because the numbers kind of line up.
Now, about what is it, the TPU event, whatever it is, the one they had on the religious channel. I didn't watch that either.
Perfectly. Actually, let me pull this up. The TPUSA halftime show here for 2026. Well, you'll notice the official number from YouTube across all three of these streams. That's on Turning Point USA, Magno News, and Charlie Kirk's official YouTube channel. The total tally, quick math, is roughly 27 million. And those are confirmed viewers after the YouTube automated audit system. Yeah, it seems to line up kind of perfectly. You got a little over 20 million people dropping off at the Super Bowl and then pulling 27 million viewers. It's probably not a one-to-one. A lot of people I know were boycotting the Super Bowl entirely.
It made me look fucking stupid.
You probably got people who watched the TPUSA event who didn't watch the Super Bowl at all, and you probably got some people who decided to turn the channel off and didn't even know about the TPUSA event, just saw Bad Bunny show up. And
I didn't know about the TPUSA event.
I think I'm going to pass on this one. The leftist narrative is
Dude, when the Super Bowl was on, I was taking a nap. A nap. Jesus.
Copium. Oh, and actually, speaking of data, a lot of this stuff is kind of dropping as we speak, or as I'm recording this video. I got this piece also from Deadline. This is a different analysis, I believe, from NBC. It says Sunday's telecast topped out at a record-breaking 137.8 million viewers in the second quarter, which is the highest viewership peak in U.S. TV history. Fresh off of his historic Album of the Year win at the Grammys, Bad Bunny Can
Dude, I don't like Bad Bunny, and I actually listen to reggaeton music. Bad Bunny's reggaeton is lame. I can say that I tried listening to it. There's other reggaeton artists that are better.
oh, wait a second before I even continue.
I'm going to say the one big thing everybody's saying, though. This should have been a show for Pitbull.
This guy got album of the year. What kind of world do we live in where an individual who can't even sing gets the album of the year with the most generic friggin' pop slop that you could imagine? But anyways, Bad Bunny mustered 128.2 million for his bombastic halftime performance, which featured assists from Lady Gaga, Ricky Martin, blah blah blah.
They could have did even Shaggy. That would have been cool.
Blah, a bunch of cameos, don't care, and that's
Honestly, I just thought of that. I'm going to have to bring that up to everybody.
also down just a bit from Kendrick Lamar's record-breaking 133 million last
Shaggy and Pitbull?
year. Yeah, so much for Bad Bunny breaking records. He got less than Kendrick Lamar last year, and according to this data, 10 million households dropped off when he came on. And this is, by the way, less reliable data than what we're seeing from Samba TV. These are the networks that kind of have a biased vested interest in boosting up the
Samba
numbers.
TV.
It's good for the ad rates for them. Samba is, of course, a non-biased source, just as Nielsen is. But anyways, basically what we're seeing now is in the tens of millions, people changed the channel, tuned out. That tells you all that you need to know. And I just want to take a second because a lot of people, they're crapping all over the TP USA event. They're also posting the side-by-side showing the YouTube video of Bad Bunny's halftime show at 60 million views and then saying, oh, how pathetic. The TP USA event only had 20. But, I think that's a whole lot of nonsense. We got to at least acknowledge how good that event was at diverting traffic. Over 20 million people ditched the Super Bowl to watch that event. That's pretty insane, especially
Yeah, but still, I didn't watch that event.
considering there's no massive ad budget.
Because I think country music and things like that shouldn't be representative of the Republican Party.
No institutional backing, and really limited ability to pull in talent. They got Kid Rock, which, it's cool. It's maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but Kid Rock is MAGA, of course. TPUSA is a right-wing organization. It's not like they're going to get their pick of the litter when it comes to pulling artists, and despite the fact, 20 plus million, that's freaking huge. And as much as the left is downplaying it, you got to admit that's probably causing full-on panic for these sports, entertainment, and network executives. They must be
My dog got the allergies acting.
freaking the frick out. The left wants so badly to suggest that, oh, everything's perfectly fine, record-breaking numbers, but no, not everything is fine. And the Nielsen numbers might even be more devastating than what we're seeing, or they might match what we're seeing from Samba, which is absolutely devastating. But of course, the left is in full copium mode, and they're just saying, look at the CBS numbers, 135 million, it's record-breaking. And well, first of all, like I just said, those numbers are...
Dude, one of the biggest problems is, and I don't remember if he brought it up, but one of the biggest problems is who wants to watch a show in complete Spanish unless you speak, well, Spanish.
Are a little bit unconfirmed, but they're also global numbers, which don't matter as much. Although you'd probably have to explain that to these network executives. Also kind of proving exactly what we've been saying. It just goes to show that the entire purpose here was to cater to a foreign audience. It kind of reinforces the point that I've been making of culture.
Does this have to do with immigration? Or does this have to do with attracting a foreign audience so they can make more money worldwide? Think about that.
Replacement. Exactly what I've been saying about the halftime show. It's globalist slop. It's obvious the NFL and these networks are just desperate to expand overseas. And apparently they're so desperate to do so that they're willing to alienate their core American audience, shafting patriotic Americans to chase those international eyeballs. Some people say it's a smart, shrewd business decision, but it also might be a complete disaster. First off, just talking ads, the notion that this is somehow a good move for the NFL or CBS.
And by the way, the ads for the Super Bowl sucked ass. Ain't like they don't write them like they used to, folks. Ain't like it used to be.
I think that's false. Having half of your domestic audience close the TV or change the channel during the halftime show, that is a disaster for American advertisers. Brands are paying tens of millions of dollars for those spots. And when half of the crowd walks away, that's money down the frickin' drain. And this idea that you can make up for it with foreign consumers, I think that's complete nonsense. The American consumer is the most powerful in the world.
Damn right we are. That's why everybody wants to be like us.
Especially for US companies buying ads at the Super Bowl. I don't think that's a good idea. And then in terms of the stability of the league, you're basically trading your most loyal, highest spending audience for people who frankly don't care about American football. It's called American football for a reason. They're not going to be buying
American
products
football.
like
Well, that's a good point you're making there, liberal. It is a American.
Native Americans. I don't think they're watching the regular season. Personally, I view this as a symptom of late stage capitalism and globalism. These out of touch companies who earned everything in America now wanting to be global phenomenons across the world. And
Because it makes money. And liberal people are too dumb to see that, we can use these people for money.
here they are selling out their core audience for endless corporate growth across the globe. They believe they've grown as much as they can locally in the
Remember, libtards and leftists and everybody who votes Democrat. These companies are using you.
United States, and so now it's time to expand markets. We've gotten everything from these stupid Americans. Now let's throw them to the wayside and go for foreigners. That's the calculation they're making, but I'm not sure it's going to pay off. I think it's a slap in the face to the fans who built this league. The trade-off might end up being a complete disaster, especially since we're in the early stages of it. You know, moving forward, it's been now 2 woke Super Bowls, the quote black national anthem being played all the time. I think people are just so sick of it. They're so sick of this woke globalist slop taking over their sports leagues. You know, in business, you want to expand your market dominance, but usually you don't want to do so by slapping your core audience in the face, you know? And that seems to be what's happening here, and I think it's the same thing.
At this point, I would have taken Taylor Swift as the halftime show. Let's face it, folks.
We saw in video games and TV shows, you know, the wokeification of entertainment. You had these studios that were trying to cater to this loud minority of woke morons, and in so doing, they shafted their
Is that a baby in his mic?
core audience base, and many of those franchises did not survive. No, they collapsed. Now, I'm not sure if the NFL
Bobby?
is there just yet, but I am seeing a similar pattern, and I'm just not so sure that it's a great idea. You know, how much are people going to take until they just say, screw it, I don't care about the NFL anymore. I'll stick to college football. Maybe I'll watch a different league that isn't pushing woke nonsense in my face 24/7 like the NHL, like the MLB. Of course, they've had, you know, certain bad moments, especially in more woke markets, but for the most part, they're not as bad. And the players aren't as insufferable either. But I guess we'll wait for the Nielsen ratings, and we'll wait and see how this gamble pays off. Who knows? Maybe I'm a chump, maybe I'm stupid, and maybe Puerto Rico is going to become, you know, the biggest hub for football. Maybe South America is going to get a league. I don't freaking know, but I guess we'll find out. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Well, folks, there you have it. The Super Bowl sucked. If you liked it, you're stupid. Of course, it's going to come from me. If you liked it, you're stupid. But anyways, like and subscribe, folks, and I'll see you in the next one.